Okay, so now in this lesson, we are going to write a script that will back up our file system. Very important script. If you do not have a backup product or backup application or backup solution in your environment, most of the time, smaller companies do not have the backup third-party application that does the backup for them. So what do they have to do is they have to rely on this operating system tools that are available to do the backup and run those backups manually by creating little script. If you are in a bigger company, you have a backup perfect. You probably don't have to worry about it, but I would still say that sometimes you do have to tar a file to do the backup if you are making certain changes for certain times. Anyway, um, let's go into the lesson. And in this lesson, we are going to back up our /etc and var directories using the tar command. Okay, why am I picking /etc and var directories? Two reasons. One, these are the most important directories in a Linux system environment, which is /etc that has all the configuration files, and var that has all your Apache and logging information if you need to go back and troubleshoot. Same thing if you need to go back if something has changed in your etc directory and configuration has changed and your application has stopped working, you could go back and restore it from your backed up etc directory. That's one reason. Second reason is I'm just picking these up. You could actually pick up any directory that you want for your test purposes. So I am picking these up as just for my lesson to go over to make you understand. So we will create the backup of these two directories by using the command tar. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to compress the backup file, which is the tar file now, using the gzip command. So compress is actually going to reduce the size of the tar file. Then what we're going to do, of course, then we're going to write a script to automate the entire process. And we're going to put some logic, some intelligence inside of the script that will look for the backup file first before it's actually move it somewhere, send it to someone, or send an email that the backup is complete or anything. So we will put that logic in there. So let's go into our Linux machine. I have logged in again as myself. And which directory I'm in my home directory. Now, since we are going to back up the /etc and var directory, these are the directories that are owned by root. So me being myself, I don't have permissions to do the backups or touch those directories. So what do I have to do is I have to become root. Perfect. Who am I? You confirm that. I am root. Now I'm very powerful. I could do anything I want. So the command, first of all, we always, before you write a script, always run your command to make sure that command works before you actually put that command inside of your script. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do tar cvf. It's just the option for the tar to actually put everything off, let's say etc or tar, and then you have to specify the name of the destination file, which is backup.tar. And what are we backing up? We're backing up etc and /var. So that's simple command to tar both of these directories and put them into backup.tar file, which will go into /temp directory. Let's run it. As you can see, it's coming up with all those files and it looks perfect. It actually taking every file in etc and every file or directory in var and tarring it together in a tar ball, and it will put into the file that we have specified, which is backup.tar. Okay, so it should be done pretty soon. My system is small. It's not huge, but if your system that you're working on is pretty big and has gigs of file system partition in etc and var, then it's probably going to take a little longer. So anyway, we'll give it a a few seconds. Oh, there you go. See, it's done. It's a matter of conversation that I was having with you, and it's done. Now, let's verify it if it actually has created the file in where we define the location temp, right? And the file was backup. Right? I hit tab and it automatically completed because it knows there's a file there. Hit enter, and now you'll see the date, the time the file was created, and it is there. Perfect. It has everything. Now, if you wanted to view what's inside the file, you could view that by untarring it, or you could use the option tar TVF, which will not untar it. It'll just show you what's inside of it. Anyway, our focus is not the tar or compress command. Our focus is to write a script that will run those commands, right? So now we know that it works. Next thing we have to do is we have to compress it. So gzip temp backup. You'll see the size of my /etc and /var is this much, and when I do the gzip, it will reduce the size. Most likely it should bring it down to about half of its size, and once it's completed, it will actually change the extension from backup.tar to backup.tar.gzip, and of course it will have a lot smaller size. All right, hopefully it should be done soon. If you are doing with me while I am teaching you, that would be a great exercise to actually tar your files and to compress your files. By the way, if it is taking a really long time, you could actually open up another terminal. I'll show you. This is a good exercise as well. Log in. This time log in as root because you're running as root. Okay, now go to temp directory and do ls-ltr on backup asterisk. And you will see both files. One is backup.tar and the other one is backup.tar.gz. Now, since our command is still running, it means this size is going to change if I run that command again. You see, it's keep reducing, keep shrinking the file. Okay, anyway, if you look at the back window, you will see the command is finished successfully, and both of our commands that we wanted to include in our script ran successfully. And even if the script will run it, we know it's not gonna error out or it's not gonna complain. Now the time to actually create our backup script. So we'll call it backup file system. You could pick any name you want, of course. Hit enter. Now you have to specify the shell. Bin bash. Again, who's the author? I'm the author. In your case, you're the author. Okay, date 08/08/2020. Why am I picking 08/08 all the time? Is this something someone's birthday, or is it something important? No, it's just something I'm picking. It's just stuck in my mind, so I keep on picking on that. But anyway, description is backup /etc and /var file system. That's it. Description is important. Modified, it's the first time, so we'll leave the same date. All right, now we have to put the same command that we ran, which is tar cvf temp backup.tar /etc/var. Then what are we going to do? We're going to compress it. Gzip backup.tar, right? Now you're probably thinking, hey Imran, maybe when it runs, the script runs all the time, it runs, It does the backup.tar file, and the file already exists. It's going to overwrite the older file, right? Yes, you are right. It will overwrite. If you want to have a different name every time it creates it, you could do that by specifying the date variable. Again, I'm not going to go into it. It's going to get very longer, but you could definitely do that. Now, get into our backups. Now, the first thing I have to do is find backup.tar.gz. Before it's actually going to run the script, I have to actually, when it runs the script and creates it, I have to do something with that. I have to notify the system administrator, or I have to actually copy that backup and put it somewhere. So in case if this system or this server I'm working on, if it actually crashes, then I could actually recover it from another server. So it's always a good idea to transfer it anywhere. So this is the time I'm actually doing that third step. So before I do the third step, I have to verify if that actual file that I'm going to transfer exists. So, and that would be, I'm saying that find backup.targ m time, and if it exists, -1, meaning if it was created today, not yesterday. I don't want to send yesterday's backup file. Type f print and then ampersand dev null. Basically, I'm saying if it is exist, m time this, which is the type is the file, simple file, then print. I don't have to put that print. It's going to put it on the screen, but it's just a command that I have. I'm going to leave it. And I'm saying ampersand greater sign, meaning whatever the output comes out from here, don't throw it on the screen. Just put it on dev null. Dev null is just a way to flush out the output. But it doesn't mean that we are flushing out the actual output and we're not going to use it. We actually will use it, but it's not going to throw that on the screen. So now what we're going to do is if $? Is equal to 0. Now what is $? It's exit status. So if the command that ran earlier than that, which is this, so what we are saying is if we find a backup.tar.gz which was created today, and that's where we define, and their exit status is 0, which is it's there, then let me put then right here. Then what do you want to do? Echo backup was created. Perfect, right? Echo, just put one more line in. Echo another, and now say archiving backup, because archiving meaning you are sending it to another location, and the another location would be you have to run the command like FTP or SCP or whatever the command that you're running. So run scp/temp/backup.tar, which is the file, to where? To root anywhere your server that you wanted to send it to, 192.168.1.1 or 2 or X, whatever, and then the path where it's going to go to. And then do else if it cannot find it. Now else is if the output is not equal to 1, then what do you want to do? Else echo backup failed. Simple as that. And then just do if. So this is the script to actually back up the file system and actually transferring that file, the backup.tar file, to another location. Now, since we are testing it and this is like a training lab, I just wanted to exclude this. I put hash here because what hash is going to do is going to comment out this entire line. So now when I'm going to run this script, what it's going to do is if this backup file exists, then it's going to say backup was created and archiving the backup. And if it does not exist, then it's going to say echo backup failed. Simple as that. I'm going to modify the permission executable to backup file system. Perfect. Now let's run it. All right. Moment of truth. You know what it's doing? It is backing up your file system. You see just what happened here? It came back and it says backup.tar file, no such file or directory. Why is that? Because, let's see what our script is doing. Our script is first tarring and putting it right here. And then, see right here, I did not specify the /backup. So I'll do var backup fs. I have to let it know where that file is located. And the file is temp. So that's where you have to do it. Here you have to specify the absolute path again, because if you're running from somewhere else, it will complain. Now, it should run, but now I don't want it to run it. I want it to comment that out because we already have the backup.gz. Let's verify it. Temp backup.gz. Yes, we have it. So now let's run our script. And it says backup was created, archiving backup. Perfect. Now what if I delete that? Yes. Now I run the script. Backup failed. There you go. Bingo. Anyway, so that's how you need to create a backup. If you are in your environment, a corporate environment, you could back up the entire file system or specific file system that you wanted to do. And whatever that you wanted to do with it, you wanted to send an email notification or you wanted to send it to a different host, you could do that.